In the 50-year history of the College World Series, possibly no field had a stronger lineup than the collection of teams that assembled in Omaha for the 1996 tournament. For the first time ever, 7 of the 8 teams were number 1 regional seeds. And the 8th, Gary Ward's Oklahoma State Cowboys came blazing in, riding a 15-game winning streak and were the nation's highest-scoring team. The Southeastern Conference scored a trifecta by placing 3 teams in the field. The number 1 seed in the series, the Alabama Crimson Tide, who had made a remarkable turnaround under second-year skipper Jim Wells, a former assistant of LSU's Skip Bertman. Number 2 seeded Florida Gators, led by young yet seasoned Andy Lopez, who won the 1992 National Crown with the underdog Pepperdine Waves. The LSU Tigers, who had already won 2 titles in the 90s, were led by Skip Bertman, USA's choice to lead the 1996 Olympic team, entered the tournament as the number 6 seed. The ACC wasn't far behind, sending 2 teams to Omaha. The 4-seeded Clemson Tigers, whose third-year coach, Jack Leggett, brought the nation's top pitching staff to Omaha. The number 7-seeded Florida State Seminoles were making their 10th appearance in Omaha under head coach Mike Martin, who has led the Seminoles for 17 years. Joining the SEC and ACC teams were the 5th-seeded Miami Hurricanes, who won 2 titles in the 80s under Ron Frazier, and now were looking to capture their first under Jim Morris. The tournament also included the nation's winningest team, the 3rd-seeded Wichita State Shockers, who had won 54 games under Gene Stevenson in the 96 season. These 8 teams would be playing at a once again improved Rosenblatt Stadium. A new $4.75 million press box added the finishing touches on what has become a state-of-the-art facility. The new construction has 90 seats overlooking the field for writers, 15 booths for broadcasters and other stadium personnel, a workroom for up to 40 reporters, a new expanded kitchen, and a dining area. With 14,500 square feet of working space, the new press box is 5 times as large as the old facility. As the popularity of the College World Series has grown the past decade, so too has the media coverage and a demand for tickets, making these renovations an important part of the continued growth of this great event. Indeed, Rosenblatt Stadium has evolved into a first-class showcase for the NCAA's baseball championship.
This highlight show is brought to you by Wilson, maker of the official ball for NCAA baseball championships.
The dramatics of the '96 College World Series descended quickly on Rosenblatt Stadium as Alabama and Oklahoma State inaugurated the 50th anniversary. 3 times in the first 6 innings, solo home runs tied the game as these 2 teams flexed their offensive muscle.
Swung on, there's a drive to center field. Doug Hall still going back now, running to his right. He's at the wall, it's off of the wall. They're saying it's a home run. Hader will touch them all. The Cowboys are even at 1-1, and Brian Hader hit a rocket.
Rusty McNamara, the Cowboys' home run and RBI leader, then sent a shot deep into left field bleachers to tie it at 2 in the 3rd. After the Pokes had slipped ahead 3-2 in the 6th, Alabama cleanup man Chris Moeller evened to score again.
And here's a long fly ball to left field, and Iowa, here she comes, a home run. And Moeller has tied it up with a 2-0 pitch to left here in the 6th inning, and it's 3-3.
But in OSU's next at bat, McNamara came through again with a 2-run screamer over the wall in the left field corner. The junior slugger made it 5-3, and the 8th-seeded Cowboys were on the verge of an opening game upset over the tournament's number 1 seed. OSU starter John Adkins was just 2 outs away from a complete game victory when Alabama's David Tidwell jolted life back into the Tide with a solo shot that made it a 1-run game at 5-4. Alabama manufactured 2 more base runners, and then their big first baseman pulled off the shocker.
Runners at first and second for Alabama. Pitch on the way. High fly ball, left field. It is gone. Alabama's won it. A 3-run homer in the bottom of the ninth by Big Daddy. Alabama has come back and won this ball game. It's his second home run. I think Oklahoma State is stunned, and Alabama is overjoyed.
Game 2 between Miami and Clemson featured a pitching matchup between two 14-game winners. Hurricane ace Clint Weibel, who had lost just 3 times, and collegiate baseball's National Player of the Year, Chris Benson, who was undefeated for the season. Both pitchers, though, struggled through the first inning. Miami scored 3 times off Benson, the first 2 coming on a bases-loaded single by team RBI leader T.R. Marcinzik, who scored Ryan Grimmett and Rudy Gomez. But the Tigers came back with 2 in the bottom of the inning, and junior left fielder Gary Burnham drilled the gap in left center for a 2-run double, scoring Kurt Boltman and Jason Emblem. The Canes added one of the most unusual runs in College World Series history in the second inning when Gomez hit a shot down the left field line.
Swung on, a fair ball down the left field line. That'll be played off the wall out there by Burnham, and it'll be an easy stand-up double for Gomez.
Burnham thought it was a foul ball. He threw it up into the stands.
No.
Yep.
No, and he's going to get home plate. Ball was fair by a foot or more. I wondered why he was loping over there, so I thought he was looking to play the carom, and look at Jack.
After the wild 4-2 start, the pitchers settled into a duel that included 15 strikeouts by Benson, who led the nation with a 1.40 ERA. But it was Clint Weibel and Hurricane closer, freshman Robbie Morrison, that would claim victory in this one. Miami had caged the Tigers for a 7-3 first-round triumph. Game 3 was a Sunshine State showdown between Florida and Florida State. For 6.5 innings, this was a grudge match between Seminole lefty Randy Choate, who was trying to add to his nation-leading 15 victories, and Gator lefty John Kaufman, who handcuffed Florida State throughout most of the game, allowing the Seminoles only 2 runs. A sacrifice fly and an RBI single by senior Steve Nadeau that scored Scooby Morton. Meanwhile, Choate was cruising with a 2-run lead with 2 out in the 7th, but 3 walks loaded the bases, and reliever Zach Diaz was brought in to face Florida's leading hitter, freshman sensation Brad Wilkerson.
Swings at this, drives it into right field. It is well hit. Way back. It is gone, gone, gone. Oh, my. Second grand slam of the year for Wilkerson. Hit it deep over the bleachers in right field. Oh, my.
A multi-purpose star for the Gators, Wilkerson then went to the mound and closed out the 5-2 Florida victory. This battle of rivals went to the Gators, and with it, advancement to the winner's bracket. In 1991 and 1993, LSU and Wichita State met in college baseball's national championship game. Now these two tradition-rich schools collided in first-round action in the first step of their goal to reach the title game again in '96. The two hard-hitting heavyweights wasted no time in showing off their offensive firepower as LSU leadoff man Jason Williams clobbered the first pitch of the game into the right field bleachers. The Tigers scored 1 in the second and then broke it open in the third. With the bases loaded, senior catcher Tim Lanier delivered the big blow.
Who swings and hits it to deep left field, way back, and that is gone! And granny for Tim Lanier. Holy cow!
The Tigers would go up 9-1, but 4 innings later, the Shockers made it a 4-run game, and then red-hot Casey Blake turned up the heat.
Driven hard to right field. That's way back there. In the alley, it is gone! Casey Blake with his 22nd home run of the year, and Wichita State still alive in this ball game at 9-7.
It was Blake's 4th hit and 4th RBI of the game, pulling the Shockers within striking distance heading into the 9th inning. And freshman shortstop Zach Sorensen awaited the first pitch.
There's a drive, deep to right. It is way up in the crowd. Zach Sorensen on the first pitch of the 9th inning cuts it to a 1-run game. The freshman with his 4th home run of the season. And what an unbelievable performance by the freshman in this one. Wow.
Sorensen's home run made the score 9-8. Then the Shockers loaded the bases with 1 out. And Skip Bertman was forced to bring in Kevin Shipp, who was scheduled to start the next game. Shipp struck out cleanup man Adam McCullough, and with 1 out to go, faced pinch hitter Ben Thomas.
Here's the stretch and the 1-1 pitch. Swung on, hit to center field. Gardner misplayed it. Now he's back. He makes the catch. And the Tigers win. The Tigers win. Holy cow, what a job by Kevin Shipp as he comes in and gets the final 2 outs with the bases loaded. And LSU hangs on and wins it by the score of 9-8.
As the '96 College World Series moved into the second round, an intriguing matchup between Alabama and Miami would determine who would take charge in Bracket 1. The Hurricanes were the most prolific offensive team in Miami history with a .340 team batting average, while the Tide pitchers sported one of the nation's best ERAs at 3.35. But on this day, nothing would tame the potent Miami bats. Freshman DH Rick Segisi started the onslaught.
Segisi drive, deep left center field. Way back goes Hall. He turns, he looks, it is gone. That's the way to break out of a slump, Rick Segisi. A 3-run home run for Segisi, his 13th. It's 3-0 Canes.
That spark lit the fuse, and the explosion came an inning later.
The stretch and the pitch to the plate. High drive, deep left center field. This one will go way back, and it will be off the wall. It might have hit the message board. That's the story, and that's what it is. 2-run homer, Pat Burrell. Miami has taken a lead now of 5-1.
Burrell, the freshman slugger who led the nation in hitting with a .483 average, gave the Hurricanes a 4-run lead, and the rout was on.
Here's the 2-0 pitch from Caldwell. Drive right center field. On the run, the move. Dive, he can't get it, is Moore. Back to the wall. Giving it a chase. Here comes Rivero. He'll score. Throw comes to the plate. It will be not in time. And on the plate going to third. Throws into left field. DeSalle will score as the Alabama Crimson Tide make like the Bad News Bears that time. Line drive up the middle. Base hit center field. Run scores. Cora comes in. It's 8-1. And the rain's beginning to come down a little bit harder. Here's the 2-2. Base hit right field. Here is Segisi in the score. Here is Gargiulo in the score. Throw to the plate is cut off. It is 10-1. Here's 2-2. Burrell base hit left field. In the score comes Grimmett, and stopping at second base is Gomez. And the right-hander sets and throws. Base hit right field. That'll be 9 runs in the inning. Here comes Burrell. That'll be 10 runs in the inning. And it is 13-1. Miami's at the 13-run pool.
In all, 15 batters, 11 hits, and 10 runs, just one shy of the College World Series record for a single inning. The Canes added 2 more runs, including a solo shot by RBI leader T.R. Marcinzik in the 8th, and Miami's potent lineup had ripped the talented Alabama pitching staff for a 15-1 landslide. The anxiety level escalated a notch at Rosenblatt Stadium as elimination from the tournament faced the loser of the Game 6 battle between Clemson and Oklahoma State. It would be no surprise that these two competitive clubs would scratch and claw to gain a victory. Clemson's second batter of the game, freshman shortstop Kurt Boltman, gave his team a quick lead with a solo blast to left center.
Hit deep into left field. Back goes Gill. And it is out of here. The little shortstop, Kurt Boltman, got a fastball up, and he ripped it out of here over the 360 marker.
The Tigers added 2 in the second to take a 3-0 lead, but the Cowboys fought back, scoring 2 runs in the bottom of the inning on an RBI single by pinch hitter Ryan Fulmer and an error by Clemson.
Base hit to center field. Charging on. Rhodes the throw. With the runner holding at third, gets away. And a run's going to score it. It's 3-2.
After the two teams traded runs in the third, Tiger third baseman Paul Galloway connected on a solo round tripper in the fifth, making it 5-3 Clemson. It stayed that way until the Cowboys, with their backs against the wall, manufactured 2 runs in the bottom of the 8th to tie the game.
As Shepard is delivering. His ball is hit into right field. That's going to score the tying run as Robinson makes the catch. Runner advances to third. It's 5-5 on the sac fly by Trent McKay.
As the game moved to the top of the 10th, the Tigers broke it wide open.
The pitch. Base hit to right field. Boltman scores. They'll hold LaCroix at third. Tigers take the lead 6-5. Right back to the mound. They'll go to second to start the double play, and it's bobbled at second base. A run scores, and they get the out at second, but it's a fielder's choice for Galloway, who picks up another RBI. Out of the stretch, the pitch. There's a base hit to right field. They're going to send Galloway as he will come on to score. Taking third is Burnham. And Robinson drives in a run, and the Tigers now lead at 8-5.
The 3-run cushion was all Clemson closer David Shepard needed, mowing down the pokes in the bottom of the 10th to keep his Tigers alive. For the Cowboys, 2 heartbreaking losses meant an early exit from baseball's big show. And for the Tigers, victory number 50 meant renewed life. LSU and Florida, 2 of the 3 Southeastern Conference teams in the 1996 College World Series, clashed in Game 7. The Gators had dominated the Tigers during 1996, sweeping a 3-game series in Gainesville and then triumphing in the SEC tournament. But now, the stakes were higher. Florida immediately took command when senior second baseman David Eckstein led off the game with a shot into the right field bleachers. The Gators added 2 more in the second, but the Tigers came back with 2 in the bottom of the inning when hot-hitting catcher Tim Lanier smoked a triple into the gap.
Here's the payoff pitch. Swung in a line drive into left center field. That's well hit, and it is going to be in for extra bases. That will score Bowles. Lanier is at second and heading for third. Here comes the throw. It is not in time, and there's the first triple of the College World Series, and Tim Lanier has it.
Then, second baseman Warren Morse singled Lanier home to make it 3-2. The Tigers scratched out 2 more runs in the fourth and then clung to the 1-run lead through the middle innings, waiting for their long ball bats to strike.
Now Wilkerson is ready to come to the plate. Check's done. Here's the pitch. Swung on and hit to right field. Wind may help that one. It's way back. Get out of here. Goal! Cooley, a 2-run home run. And the Tigers lead it 6-3. Now the stretch and the pitch. Swung on, hit to very deep right. If it stays fair, it's out of here. It is a home run! Kerner, his 12th of the year. And the Tigers lead it 9-4.
The Tigers lived by the home run all year long, and it now propelled them to a late inning come-from-behind win. A victory that placed LSU in the driver's seat of Bracket 2. Wichita State and Florida State both racked up over 50 wins in 1996, but they needed 1 more to stay alive in the College World Series. Coming off opening round losses, the Shockers and Seminoles would pull out all the stops with the season on the line. The teams fought to a 1-1 tie behind the strong pitching of starters Steve Forrell and Scooby Morgan through the first 5 innings. In the 6th, Wichita State grabbed a 3-1 lead thanks to an error at first base.
Morgan deals. Bouncer right side, over the first baseman. The only play will be the pitcher covering first, and they throw it away. 1 run is in. Here comes Reese to score. Everybody gets to move up 90 feet as the ball goes into the dugout.
Down 2 in the 7th, sophomore J.D. Drew, who enjoyed a record-setting 4-home-run College World Series a year ago, smashed a 2-run single to score Brooks Badeau and Adam Thoreau. That tied the game at 3. Then in the 8th, Farrow, Florida State's third baseman, stepped up defensively.
Here's the stretch and the pitch, and there's a bouncer, dove on by Farrow. What a play. Checks the runner, throws and gets it. What a play by Adam Farrow. There's a high chop up the third baseline. Going to be a tough play. Farrow has it, fires, got him. Had to fire a strike with a speedy runner. The Seminoles get out of it.
In the bottom of the eighth, with the bases loaded, Loper promptly walked Morgan to force in the go-ahead run. For the first time this year, America's premier reliever was removed from a game. Then, facing Travis Wyckoff, Florida State broke it open.
And the pitch is a bouncing base hit up the middle. One run is in. Here comes number 2. On his way to third, pinch runner Brian Sr. The throw at home is nowhere close. Seminoles lead it 6-3. And the 1-2 pitch. Didn't want to. Hits a slow roller deep in the hole at shortstop. It's going to get into left field for a base hit. 2 runs will score. An excuse me base hit that just went right by the third baseman and shortstop, and the Seminoles lead it 8-3.
Mike Martin's teams had fallen on hard luck in previous College World Series appearances, but finally, the bounces seemed to go their way. The Shockers, though, still had one final chance. After adding a run to make it 8-4, the bases were loaded. Martin called on Randy Choate, normally a starter, to come in and throw strikes, and strikes he threw.
Here's the wind, and the 3-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Blew it by him with a fastball. That-a-way, Randy. Here it comes, inside corner, called strike 3. Base is loaded, 2 outs. Choate trying to get out of this in the 9th inning. Here's the wind, the 0-2 pitch, strike 3 called as he strikes out the side and comes in and ends this ball game, and the Seminole season stays alive, and Florida State wins it by an 8-4 count.
When it came to pitching, the Clemson Tigers and the Alabama Crimson Tide had 2 of the finest staffs in all of college baseball in 1996. That's what most folks at Rosenblatt Stadium expected to see as these 2 teams met to decide who would continue and who would go home. But what would transpire was one of the most thrilling, emotion-packed offensive displays of baseball in recent College World Series history. The Tigers wasted no time, busting out to a 5-0 lead in the first 2 innings.
The payoff again. Line to right field. Back goes Moore. It's over his head off the wall. Boltman will score. They'll hold McCroy at third. Now they've got a hang-up down here, and he's safe. He missed the tag on Galloway. Moeller missed the tag. This time he lines a shot to right field. That's in for a base hit. Rhodes digging for third. Ball gets by the right fielder Moore. They're going to wave. Rusty. Here's the throw coming in, and the run scores, and the Tigers lead it 2-0. The 0-2 pitch coming to Boltman. Change up. Hit in the air to right field. Moore going back. It's going to be over his head, off the wall. They'll wave the runner around. In at second base is Boltman with a double, and the Tigers lead it 3-0. Here's the pitch. That ball's driven to right field. And that one's going to get on out of here. Jason Embler took an outside fastball and deposited it in the right field bleachers.
The fireworks by the Tiger infielders started to show in grand fashion, but it would get much better. The Tide would answer with 3 runs in the third on Chris Moeller's RBI single, and then a huge drive by Dustin Moore.
Pitch on the way. High fly ball, deep left field, way back. It is way out of here. Home run, Dustin Moore. He's broken the drought, and Alabama's back in the ball game. It's now 5-3 on the 2-run homer by Dustin Moore.
Clemson thought they had 3 runs on the scoreboard in the 4th, but center fielder Doug Hall took them off.
Here's the 2-2. Fly ball, deep center field. Doug Hall goes back at the wall. He leaps, and he caught it! Holy cow, he caught it off the wall!
The next batter was Gary Burnham, and an extra few feet made a big difference for him.
2-0 pitch. Well hit to right field. Going back on it is the right field. This is out of here. A 3-run home run by Gary Burnham.
The Tigers had an 8-3 advantage, but Alabama narrowed the margin again in the 6th, and senior shortstop Brett Tapp walloped a 2-run shot.
And there's 2 runs because Brett Tapp just hit one 4 miles into Omaha. A 2-run home run. Vining left that one up, and Brett Tapp has finally gotten himself a hit here in this series.
Base hit to right field, down the line. Chasing over there is Moore, gets by, goes to the wall. They're going to swing Burnham towards the plate. Here's the relay, and the throw is not in time, and into third is Robinson.
Will Duffy followed with a pinch hit single that brought Robinson home, and it was 10-5, which is normally more than enough for the stingy Clemson pitchers. But in the bottom half of the 7th, the Tide came rolling in.
Pitch to him, high drive, left field, way back. It is going to be out of here. There's another home run for Alabama, the 3rd of the day. It's 10-6.
That home run chased starter Ken Vining. Then with the bases loaded, Coach Jack Leggett went to closer David Shepard.
Pitch to Taft on the way. High fly ball, way back. It is out of here. It's a grand slam home run for Brett Taft. We're tied at 10.
He has homered again.
Who would have thought that? The little shortstop, the senior from Hueytown, has just put it in the bleachers, and we're tied at 10.
Bama added 2 more runs in the 8th to go up 12-10. This was truly hard to believe. Alabama's incredible comeback was now just 3 outs away from reality. But as the Rosenblatt crowd anxiously awaited the 9th inning, the Tigers were poised for one more comeback.
There's a base hit to center field. Rounding third, Burnham. He'll come to the plate to score. And it's now 12-11, and runners still at first and second. And the pitch. That's driven in the gap in right center field. It is off the wall. 2 runs are going to score. Livingston's going to haul into second with a stand-up double, and the Tigers grab the lead. Chopped up the middle, and goes off the glove with a shortstop Taft, and another run will score. And down to second, Boatman, he's out.
This unlikely offensive barrage still had a half inning left. And by this time, everyone felt it would come down to the last out. With a 1-run lead, it was left to Billy Koch to face the Tide's leading hitter, senior Dax North.
The pitch. Ground ball, Ambler to Koch. Ball game's over. The Tigers advance.
The Clemson team called this the most exciting game they'd ever played. And most exciting of all, the College World Series would last a little longer. Baseball powerhouses Florida and Florida State had battled in many important games in recent years, but none could match the significance of this second confrontation of the College World Series. Both teams were maneuvering their way through the losers bracket. Gators coach Andy Lopez told his team that some players would need to step forward. 2 sophomores did more than that. They took quantum leaps offensively. All-SEC designated hitter Chuck Hazard inflicted the major damage by blasting home runs in his first 2 at-bats.
Here's the pitch from Howell, swung on. A fly ball hit deep to right, way back, and it is gone. A home run for Chuck Hazard, who hammers a line drive into the seats in right field, and it is 2-0. Here's the pitch, swung on, long drive to right, and it is out of here. It is out of here. It went right into the first row of seats in right field. Second home run of the ball game for Chuck Hazard.
Those 2 shots powered the Gators to an early 4-0 lead and instilled confidence in their other sophomore star, starting right-hander Tommy Bond, whose performance was crucial in Florida's success in Omaha. Quite simply, he was brilliant beyond the wildest expectations. Bond retired 12 straight batters in innings 4 through 7 with the help of some outstanding defense.
All right, Scott Zetz will lead things off at the top of the 7th for the Seminoles. He goes after the first pitch, locks it into center field, and a running pitch. Diving is Chris Chesney.
him in the power alley in right center field. Oh boy, what a catch.
Bond allowed just 5 hits through 7 innings and held a 5-1 lead in the 8th before making his only mistake.
Here's the stretch and the 1-0 pitch, and Drew hits a high fly ball to deep right field. Brad Wilkerson stands back at the track, still going back, reaches up, and it's gone, a 2-run homer.
Seminole slugger J.D. Drew became the all-time College World Series home run leader with his 5th career round tripper. That made the score 5-3. After the explosion, Lopez went to stopper Paul Rigdon to close out the game.
The 1-2 pitch. Swung on a chopper to Ellis at third. Charging up with it. Throwing to first. Low throw. Dug out by Duncan. Out at first. Ball game is all over. Gators win. And they stay alive here in Omaha.
In 1996, the NCAA celebrated the 50th anniversary of the College World Series, a series that began innocently in 1947 and now rates as one of the premier events in all of sports. Back in 1947, Yale and California met for the first ever national championship of intercollegiate baseball. Cal squeaked out an 8-7 victory in front of a few thousand fans in Kalamazoo, Michigan. Though the game didn't receive a lot of attention, it was the beginning of something big.
College baseball meets in the heartland.
Everything was, well, it was on a much smaller scale than you see here today.
It was exciting, and I guess at the time, I don't know, as we really realized we were doing something that was going to be last for 50 years.
It was just one hell of a good experience. We really enjoyed it.
One participant in the 1947 championship was a left-handed first baseman from Yale, who'd go on to win the NCAA Theodore Roosevelt Award and become the 41st President of the United States.
50 years ago it was that I participated, and I can still vividly remember some of the memories. I happen to remember losing in the finals of 2 World Series, but nevertheless, I remember getting there. I remember running up to the final games, dusting off a lot of good teams, the joy of that victory, and I remember the sadness of the defeat. But best of all, you make a lot of friends in the series. I've stayed in touch with a couple of the coaches from the series, and I think those kids will look back and say this was a great moment in my life.
In 1950, the College World Series moved to Omaha, Nebraska, bringing with it a rich tradition that continues today. That tradition includes some of the greatest players and coaches to ever play the game of baseball. From Rod Dato's USC dynasty in the 60s and 70s to Arizona State powerhouses, first under Bobby Winkles and then Jim Brock, to an unprecedented 17 appearances by legendary Cliff Gustafson of Texas. Dick Seifert of Minnesota, Jerry Kindle of Arizona, and Augie Garrido of Cal State Fullerton. Players such as Dave Winfield of Minnesota, Dave Kingman of USC, Roger Clemens of Texas, and the list goes on and on. In modern times, it has become an event like none other, steeped in a long tradition of great teams, great coaches, and great players. In honor of the great players and coaches who had played in Omaha, the NCAA brought back the College World Series all-time team. To help celebrate the 50th anniversary, the NCAA also invited back participants from that very first game in Kalamazoo to share in the festivities of the 1996 College World Series. Thanks in large part to these pioneers, the College World Series will no doubt continue to escalate to the heights that couldn't even be imagined on that summer day 50 years ago in Kalamazoo, Michigan. The Miami Hurricanes were just one win away from a berth in the national championship game, and one of the reasons was their impressive opening round victory over Chris Benson and the Clemson Tigers. It was the first loss of the season for Clemson's phenom, and the Canes were looking to do it for the second time in less than a week. The answer came quickly. With the nation's best pitcher facing the nation's best hitter in the first inning, Miami's Pat Burrell turned on an inside pitch and ripped it into the corner for an RBI double, scoring Ryan Grimmett. Then, junior Michael DeSalle doubled home Burrell with a drive to left center field, making it 2-0. The Canes added a third run, but the Tigers got right back in it during their first at-bat.
Curveball hit down the line and left. That's going to be in there. In the seats, as a matter of fact. A line drive home run by Matthew LaCroix.
Matthew LaCroix's two-run line drive home run over the left field wall made it 3-2. Miami kept pressure on Benson by adding a run in the second on catcher Jim Gargiulo's ground rule double, scoring Alex Cora. Then in the fourth, freshman DH Rick Sagisi extended the Hurricanes' lead.
Fastball fairly well hit toward the gap in left center. Sagisi has hurt this ball. Sagisi has knocked it out of the ballpark. It's his second home run of the College World Series for Rick Sagisi, and Miami leads the game 5-2.
But the Tiger hitters gave Benson new life in the bottom of the fourth, tying the game with 3 runs. The first came courtesy of cleanup hitter Jason Embler, who deposited Dennis Pujols' pitch over the right center field wall. After an infield hit by Paul Galloway, hot-hitting junior Gary Burnham doubled into the corner for his 6th RBI of the tournament. Then, number 9 hitter Rusty Rhodes evened the score at 5 runs apiece.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Base hit, left side. Jack is waving Burnham. Up with it is DeSalle. Here's the throw to the plate. It's cut off by Burrell. And the Tigers have tied it up.
Clemson fans were hoping this was the renewed chance their All-American needed. But the torrid Hurricane bats couldn't be tamed, even by the country's finest.
Marcinzik hits a long drive to left field. Can the ballpark hold it? It can't. Miami leads this game 6-5 on the home run by Marcinzik. Sagisi with a fly ball towards center field. Coming in is Rhodes. Coming in, it's going to be a base hit. He can't get it. Miami leads it 7-5. It's a shot toward the gap. If that drops in, it's going to drop in. Miami leads this ball game 8-5. Gomez is going to try for 2. And the throw is wide, and Gomez with a sliding double, and the Canes have built back their 3-run lead.
In the 8th, Benson was finished, but the Miami batters weren't. Freshman wizard Pat Burrell dealt the final blow.
Oh my, crush it out of this ball yard. And I don't want to pat myself on the back, but I said hit one out of the ballpark, and he did. It is a 3-run home run for Pat Burrell. So he puts on the Superman cape again and slaps it out of here. And this ball game, I think, is going to be out of reach now for the Clemson Tigers. It is 12-5 on Pat Burrell's 23rd home run of the year.
Freshman closer Robbie Morrison shut the door in a Hurricanes' 14-5 triumph. This Clemson team had gone further than any in school history, but the Miami Hurricanes were going even further. The Canes were going to the title game. The 2 coaches on the field in Game 12 for LSU in Florida had won 3 of the last 5 college baseball championships. And they would square off in this Bracket 2 final to determine who would face Miami for the '96 title. For Skip Bertman's LSU Tigers, a victory would vault them to their 3rd title game of the 90s. In between LSU's 91 and 93 crowns, Andy Lopez led Pepperdine to the pinnacle of baseball and now hoped to do the same with the Florida Gators. LSU's All-American left-hander, Eddie Arnold, struck out 8 and kept the Gators guessing with a combination of fastballs, sliders, and changeups. But Florida's top winner of '96, lefty John Kaufman, was matching Yarnell pitch for pitch. The Tigers scored first on aggressive base running by Eddie Furness, who scored from third on Brett Wilson's chopper in front of the plate in the 2nd inning. The Gators tied the game in the 5th when senior David Eckstein roped an RBI single up the middle to score Matt Duncan from second base. Then in the 6th, LSU loaded the bases for senior Justin Bowles, who was batting a remarkable .600 in the series.
2-1 pitch, swung out and hit hard to right field. It will be back and off the top of the wall. Dunn is in. Cooley stopped at third. It's now 2-1.
The Gators threatened in the 8th, but LSU reliever Patrick Coogan came on and struck out Matt Duncan to extinguish the flame. In the 9th, Bertman used 2 more pitchers, and his bullpen didn't let him down.
Now the wind up. Here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on a ground ball to Dunn. This could do it. Here's the throw over. Tigers win and will play for the national championship on Saturday.
LSU hadn't won a game all year long with less than 3 runs, but they made these 2 count when they needed them. A courageous Gator run in the '96 series was over. It'll be the Tigers of LSU once again fighting to be king of the jungle. As the moment arrived to crown the 50th national champion in college baseball history, it was appropriate that 2 schools with a long tradition at the College World Series would take center stage for the 1996 title. The Miami Hurricanes, who won 2 national championships in the 80s, were facing the LSU Tigers, who had already captured 2 titles in the 90s. The winner would become just the 4th school in history to win 3 baseball championships. The Canes were blistering hot, hitting a College World Series record .377 and averaging an amazing 12 runs per game in their 3-game sweep through Bracket 1. The Tigers, nicknamed the Bayou Bombers en route to an SEC record 130 homers in '96, had instead relied on 3 strong pitching performances to cruise undefeated through Bracket 2. The Hurricanes sent J.D. Arteaga to the mound for the title game. Arteaga sported a 12-1 record. The Tigers countered with Kevin Shipp, who notched saves in 2 of LSU's 3 wins in Omaha. Shipp now had to face the Canes' scorching bats. The Canes wasted no time in continuing their torrid hitting pace. Junior left fielder Michael DeSalle stroked a bases-loaded single in the top of the 1st inning, bringing home Ryan Grimmett and Pat Burrell for a quick 2-0 lead. A sterling defensive play by LSU's junior second baseman Warren Morris in the 3rd saved a run and provided a spark for the Tigers going to the bottom of the inning. For sophomore center fielder Mike Kerner started the scoring.
0-2 pitch. Swinging a line drive, base hit into right field. 1 run will score, and that'll be it.
Oh, they got 2 runners at third base. They got pitch problems. Here we go. Let's see if he runs him right back.
Now the runner is going back towards second base.
And they could get a double play right there.
Man goes to second, and he slides in safely. The batter, Mike Kerner, while all this was going on, went to second base.
The base running mistake cost the Tigers an out, but all SEC third baseman Nathan Dunn's drive to deep center field scored Morris to tie the game at 2. Then it was Eddie Furness's turn to produce.
1-1 is a 1-hopper up the middle base hit. Furness with his first RBI of the series, and LSU has 3 on the board here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and they take a 3-2 lead.
The record crowd of nearly 24,000 at Rosenblatt Stadium saw the Hurricanes tie the game in the 5th after a sacrifice fly by DeSalle. Then junior shortstop Alex Cora sent a drive to deep left field.
Cora swinging a fly ball to left field, pretty well hit. Now Cooley's got to go back. The ball races away, and Cooley dives to make the catch.
Oh, he drops it.
Cooley going over to argue with the umpire. Here comes the runner around third. He will score. Cora goes into third. He's safe.
The diving attempt by Chad Cooley was ruled no catch. The rule states it is not a catch if simultaneously with or immediately after contact with the ball, the fielder collides with a player, fence, or falls down, and as a result, drops the ball. Once the dust settled, Miami added 2 in the 6th to go up 7-3. LSU got a run in the 7th to pull within 3. Then LSU's record-setting RBI producer, Eddie Furness, ripped a hit to right field that was bobbled by Rivero and allowed Dunn to score all the way from first base. Now the score was 7-5. The Tigers kept coming in the 8th, but loaded the bases, and sophomore Mike Kerner's drive was long enough to left field to score captain Tim Lanier and bring LSU to within 1 at 7-6. Then Nathan Dunn and the Never Say Die Tigers tied it up again.
Morris into the belt, first pitch. Breaking ball, bouncing ball goes into the hole. Here comes the runner around third. He will come in to score, and we've got a tie ball game at the College World Series in Omaha. 7-7, LSU and Miami.
This classic championship grudge match headed to the 9th inning. With Marcinsic on second, Miami shortstop extraordinaire Alex Cora came to the plate.
Through the belt, check second, 0-1 delivery. Line drive, base hit down the left field side. They're waving the runner in. Here comes the throw from Chad Cooley. It is on line, and it just goes a little bit away, and Miami takes the lead.
The fans at Rosenblatt Stadium were on the edge of their seats as these two teams fought back and forth in a gut-wrenching battle for the championship ring. To the bottom of the ninth it went. The Tigers had 3 outs to make one last charge.
Base hit right down the line. Wilson rounds first. He's going to try for second. Here comes the throw from the left fielder, Rivera. Wilson, safe. He just did keep his hand on the bag.
Then Justin Bowles grounds to first to advance Wilson, and Tim Lanier goes down swinging. All-American freshman reliever Robbie Morrison would face LSU's number 9 hitter Warren Morris, who was coming off hand surgery in April and had just returned to the lineup in the regionals. It was stuff that kids dream of. College World Series, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, tying run on third.
First pitch, fly ball, deep right field. Could be gone. It is gone. A home run. Warren Morris with 2 outs hits a home run over the right field wall.
Home plate umpire Scott Graham is shooing him off the field. He's got to touch home plate. There it is. Could this happen to a better person
than Warren Morris? The Miami players, as the ball went over the wall, fell down almost as one. Unbelieving. Warren Morris,
first pitch,
takes the first pitch and hits it over the right field wall for a 2-run home run. And the Tigers of LSU have won the national championship in dramatic come-from-behind margin. They defeat Miami 9-8.
In a half-century full of College World Series thrills, none could beat this one. The dramatic heroics of Warren Morris, an LSU star who came back from injury and time to help his teammates battle for the title, put an exclamation point on an incredible game. A game that exemplified the true spirit of college baseball at its very finest. For the 3rd time in 6 years, the LSU Tigers were national champions. The proud heritage of the College World Series that started 50 years ago had indeed added a golden memory.